Hey, Julia here. And wow, that's bright. There we go. So I'm setting up my bullet journal for July, and the theme I'm going with this month is fountain pens. And I've been obsessed with them over a little over a year at this point. If you're my buddy over on Instagram, this should come as no surprise to you, but I am down this rabbit hole deep and I love it so much. So yeah, we're gonna be talking a little bit about that and setting up a nude month. And believe it or not, it's been a while, but we're going to be painting today with gouache. I'm using my super crusty Hemi gouache set, like I'm embarrassed to even show it on camera, but right now I'm just pulling out my palette and getting my colors all mixed up. The color palette itself and the pen that I'm going to be painting on the cover page is inspired by an actual pen that, get this, I did not own at the time of filming this video, but I literally just won it in an Instagram giveaway, and I feel like I never win giveaways. And it's my birthday week, and it could just not have been more fun timing. But anyway, thank you to Pen Chalet for gifting me the Esterbrook Botanical Gardens fountain pen and case. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, I was very unsure how to tackle this painting. After the first few strokes, I was very close to being like, nope, never mind. But I decided to just see it through. So please believe me when I say that this is way easier to do than what it probably ends up looking like. I have the shape of the pen already sketched out lightly in pencil, but as far as the body of the pen, I'm just dabbing the paintbrush with the colors that I have. It's crazy. Where the gold is, I will go back over that with some gold watercolor just to get some extra shine there. I also watered down the darkest color I have mixed for the shadow, dabbed some white in there for the highlights, and I was pretty pleased with how this started to come together. I actually haven't painted a thing since my January setup, full transparency, but this was really relaxing and honestly quite satisfying. Oh yes, I wanted to do the lettering with a burgundy calligraph, but it was randomly dry, so cool. Good old trusty Tombow Furunosuke it is. The lettering is just a natural hand lettering style script this month. The quote is from Isabel Allende, who is a Chilean author, but the quote is, "Write what should not be forgotten," which, do I even need to say more on why that's like the perfect quote for a bullet journal theme about pens? I was also a little indecisive with my washi stripes this month, but decided to just pull it back and go for a white washi with gold sparkles, and I think it just all came together quite nicely. Okay, flipping over to the next spread, I'm just doing a one-page vertical calendar and trying something a little bit different with the grid, opening it up a bit. I know this sounds weird, but it just feels more fountain penny, like precise measurement. I know that's a bit of a reach for a design element, but it's funny how those little, like, more subconscious ties like that can make the whole thing feel more united. Apply that to what you will. So over on the left there, I did paint in a couple of nibs, and I just had to include the nibs by themselves somewhere in this setup because that's a whole other potential fountain pen rabbit hole. But it's just really fascinating the amount of work that goes into them and how much they can make or break a writing experience, all based on your own personal preference. The pen that I painted in on the right is shaped like a Lamy Safari, and I've learned that this is a super popular pen. It's a solid beginner pen. It was my second one, I do believe. It's available a lot of places, lower price point. The ladies at Penny Smith Paper in Albuquerque were so nice helping me out and letting me ask all the newbie questions. But yeah, totally a like life-size style painting, and that was not on purpose itself, but hey, pretty cool. Okay, this next page is a big one. The wedding is creeping up on me really fast, just a couple more months, so I guess needless to say my priorities will need to shift a bit as far as videos are concerned. I'll try my best, but with that I need a page that can handle a beefier and highly specific task list that will help me out week to week, but also help me prioritize. So I came up with this idea. This will be broken up into 3 sections. 2 of the sections will be reusable. I'll link the reusable spread process video up above if you're interested in more details there. But the top section will be changed out every week, showing me what I need to get done or be working on from week to week. Likewise, this middle section gives me a look at things I would like to knock out for the entire month of July. So when a new week hits, I can migrate some of those tasks up to the top box, and then the bottom section is to mostly deter me from like overwhelming myself or trying to keep all the to-dos in my head. Things I need to do later in August or September, I can put those here. To tie this in with the theme, I'm using some ink and I'm just gonna splatter that a little in the header. This is a gorgeous burgundy red ink from Mont Blanc. But yeah, this spread can come in handy if you've just got a larger project or event or goal that you're working on, and this is a way to kind of break those things down without using a lot of notebook space. The next page I'm working on is my monthly dashboard. This also changes quite a bit from month to month depending on what I need. The 3 sections I'm working on now are to jot down any TV shows and movies we watched during the month, any progress with my yearly focus areas, and also a space to write down any monthly invoices I need to deploy at the end of the month. I like to keep these sections pretty simple, all about the function. It's been a couple of months without them, but I'm bringing back just a few habit trackers this month. I'm honestly not quite sure what exactly I want to track for July just yet, but I feel like I need to regroup on building like healthy day-to-day habits. So that's what I've got going on there. The headers are little ink cartridges. I personally prefer converters with my pens so I can use my bottled ink, but a lot of the times pens will just come with cartridges and it just fit the area a little better here. Use that burgundy ink to fill those in. The page on the right is just a page for doodling, testing ink colors, writing for the sake of writing, just because I've been loving the sensation of using a fountain pen. And yes, I have sticky notes and notepads galore, but that does get a little messy on the desk, not gonna lie. And you know, why not have a place for it here? I think it'll be fun. Speaking of fun, this pen was really fun to paint. Again, kept it without an outline or anything. It was hard to paint this one without sticking my full head in the shot because it's a bit smaller and I like to get super close. But yeah, I just think this will be a super fun page to use and I'm excited for it. The next spread is a weekly spread. I'm actually doing a couple of them in this video since we're heading out of town for work and for my wedding makeup and hair trial near the end of the week. So I'm just planning ahead and setting up 2 weekly spreads now. Getting the bones in, I have a task bank on the right that'll be separated out by work-related things and personal things. Usually personal things are like housework and content stuff. On the left is a table of any day-specific meetings and appointments. I like to keep those things separated from the daily task list so I know what I'm working around. And initially I wasn't gonna paint on every page, but I was enjoying it so much that I decided to paint more pens. The one on top is gonna be sort of fashioned after a TWSBI pen. Again, another solid beginner pen, super reliable, and I love it because of the transparent body. Apparently it's called a demonstrator pen when you can sort of see the ink sloshing around in there, but it's really fun, so that's the idea I was going for there. The pen on the bottom, I was going for a Sailor Pro Gear Slim look. I don't have one of these pens. They're a little more on the expensive side as well, but they do come in a ton of pretty colors and I hear people sing their praises a lot. I'm telling on myself here, but I didn't use references for any of these paintings. I just kind of sketched from memory, which can be a fun time. Okay, one more weekly spread. Changing things up a bit so I don't get bored. The task list is running down the left side, split up again for work, personal, and a dedicated weekend list. I like having a weekend specific list because I get a lot of content things done. So a lot of the time I will just fill this section up during the week and come back to it over the weekend. There's also a quick reminder up top to check that wedding list page. I have the first daily header put up here, and in the middle of the page, I'm just doing a large area of ink. I want it to look somewhat swatchy, somewhat like an ink spill, because those definitely happen from time to time. It's messy out here in these fountain pen streets, but this ended up looking a little bit like blood as well, which is kind of not the vibe I was going for, but you know, it's whatever. So I also want to show you guys the pens that I want to use for this month. This Leonardo pen. I'm going to put this burgundy ink in it. I'm going to use this Lamy Safari, and oh yeah, this is my ink journal. I'm thinking about doing this ancient copper for that. It's kind of orangey. I think that'll look good with this pen. And then this pen kind of has the vibes of the cover pen, the cover page, oh my God. And so I am going to use this pen with this kind of turquoise teal color here. Of course, I made this journal after I did my last mid-year check-in. So that always tends to happen where I make new journals after I do a journal review video. It's my toxic journal trait. I also have these watercolor stickers straight from my journal happening in my Etsy shop here soon. I'll leave a link for the shop down in the description. Give it a heart, and those should be out very soon in both full size and the new mini size. I'll be using them myself in upcoming weekly spreads, and you can see those on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, let's go ahead and flip through these initial spreads. I am in love with this cover page and all the paintings I got into this month. Let me know what your thoughts are on fountain pens. If you have any super beginner questions or advice as I gear up for my first pen show in October, yay. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave another video here if you want to just keep hanging out a little more. Bye.